landmark could kill everyone. The authorities refused to believe it for almost 10 years, but now they are forced to admit that the island's capital is sitting on a bomb that could explode at any moment. But what happened to Taipei? Taipei is the most beautiful place in the world. Welcome to Yangmingshan, the island's most beautiful park. It is not far from the capital, and until recently it was a favorite vacation spot for citizens. But now it is mainly roamed by foreigners because they do not know what they are risking. Yangmingshan is famous for its incredible nature. It has incredibly beautiful landscapes, flowering cherries, colorful meadows, and mountain ranges. It was even nicknamed the Chinese Alps. Macaques frolic in the park and formidable buffaloes graze, which tourists adore. A separate attraction in the reserve is the misty mountains of Xiaoyukeng. There are fumaroles everywhere here. All this splendor exists because of the Daytun volcano group. Scientists have long considered these 20 peaks to be dormant, but they were wrong. In 2019, Chen Corlin, director of the local volcanology observatory, published his research claiming the Daytun volcanic chain is not dormant and could erupt at any moment.
In the worst-case scenario, everyone living at the foot of the mountains will be wiped out and the capital will suffocate from toxic emissions.
But in 2019, no one believed Lin. They laughed at him. However, Chen Corlin didn't give up and proved he was right. Taipei is destined for a sad Pompeii-like fate if the authorities don't come to their senses and take action.
We discovered a magma chamber under Datun, a telltale sign of an active volcano. We found a concentration of helium-3, another sign of volcanic activity. We even eavesdropped on 2 fumaroles underground using infrasound, sounding like a jet engine.
Lin even consulted with colleagues in Japan. Who knows more about volcanoes than people who live on them? That killed any hope of a mistake. The Japanese fully confirmed Chen Corlin's findings. Taipei is facing disaster. It's only a matter of time. Basically, today, this area is like a big pot of boiling water with the lid on.
Deep underground, the water is under immense pressure. A significant geological event such as a powerful earthquake, a sudden tectonic fault shift, or even a large landslide could potentially release that stored energy. This rapid decompression can then force water or steam, along with a mixture of debris and rocks, violently to the surface, potentially causing a powerful explosion and significant damage to the surrounding area.
These specific kinds of eruptions are called phreatic eruptions, and while they may not be quite as visually impressive or dramatic as the more well-known magmatic eruptions, they can actually be far more dangerous and devastating in their own way. For example, back in 2014, Mount Ontake in Japan experienced a phreatic eruption, tragically resulting in the loss of over 60 lives. As for when Dayton might erupt, scientists simply don't have a definitive answer. They've surrounded the entire Xiaoyukeng Valley with a network of 40,000 people. They've also set up anti-monitoring stations, keeping watch day and night. However, even with all this, it doesn't guarantee a sufficient early warning. An eruption could happen incredibly fast, potentially dooming those within the reserve. Any tremor, even a small one, could be enough to trigger it, and Taiwan certainly experiences its fair share of tremors. Taiwan sits in the Pacific Ring of Fire, a highly active seismic area. Consequently, there are around 100 noticeable earthquakes, plus many more that go unnoticed. What would be a catastrophe for many is everyday life for the Taiwanese, especially those in the Jiufen region.
The Jiufen area faces complex engineering and geological challenges, mainly due to an active tectonic fault. This makes the region prone to frequent flooding and tectonic activity, often causing large landslides and collapses. This poses a risk to both infrastructure and communities.
Tourists flock to Jiufen, home to what many consider the island's most picturesque village. It's been recognized as one of the world's most beautiful villages. Quite an honor. It's not just on the list, it's actually in the top 10. Gold was discovered here in the late 19th century, but the mines quickly closed. But Jiufen became so famous for its beauty that the locals quickly switched from gold mining to tourism. But this picturesque village stands on that very dangerous fault line, and the town itself is only making things worse. The houses on the slopes that tourists love so much are essentially illegal constructions. They were built without any plans or consideration of the seismic hazard zone. As a result, the hills are overloaded with these buildings, which provokes landslides and collapses. But the Taiwanese are in no hurry to rebuild the village because then people will stop coming. For now, they've pumped out the groundwater and drilled additional wells. But how long will these measures last? If disaster strikes, Jiufen will likely become a new, unfortunate attraction on the map of post-apocalyptic China. And in the future, it will be a major part of the country's history. And yes, such places exist in Taiwan. This is the Asai Trail. Tourists used to walk here, there was a railway and sawmills. But after the 1999 Chi earthquake, everything around here turned to ruins.
It was a truly devastating event. What made it especially tragic was that it happened late at night when people were asleep and vulnerable, causing a devastating loss of life, with up to 2,500 fatalities. Moreover, it was followed by a huge number of aftershocks. For 2 weeks, there were numerous other earthquakes, keeping everyone on edge.
Surprisingly, the number of tourists on the trail didn't decrease after that. Now it's a hotspot for mystery and horror fans. They trek through the so-called dead forest of Shuyang along flooded railway ruins shrouded in mist. Reaching Taiwan's Leaning Tower is the ultimate thrill. That's what they call Genshin Temple in Taipei. After Typhoon Morkot in Zone 9, a landslide tilted it over 30 degrees. Pisa, for comparison, leans only 4. The government didn't have the money to fix it, but why bother? More people visit the crooked shrine now than when it stood straight. So officials built a viewing platform and are now profiting.